Imagine opening your inbox. You are a homeowner, and you are just hoping for a reasonable quote to replace a few drafty living room windows.
Yeah, I mean, you expect to spend a fair chunk of change, sure.
Right, exactly. But instead, you open the PDF and you find yourself staring at a bill for $146,000.
Oh, wow. I mean, it is the kind of number that just induces immediate panic.
Oh, for sure.
For anyone listening right now who is preparing to tackle their own window replacement, hearing a figure like that floating around the market, well, it can make you want to just cancel the project entirely.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because sitting here at the editorial desk for the Renology magazine, reviewing project quotes submitted to our network by homeowners across the country, we do see a lot of variation.
We really do.
But a six-figure bill, that requires some serious context. We need to ground this outlier in our 2026 reality.
Yes, absolutely we do.
If you look at the 2026 cost versus value report from Remodeling magazine, the baseline is completely different.
It is so different. Their data shows the national median cost for a full vinyl window replacement is $21,955.
Right.
And, if you upgrade to wood windows, the national median hits $24,840.
So jumping from a $24,000 median to a $146,000 quote, it just feels completely disconnected from the actual market.
It really does.
It feels like walking onto a car lot just looking to buy a reliable commuter sedan to get you safely to work. And before you know it, the salesperson has pressured you into a custom luxury sports car with a racing engine.
And carbon fiber trim, right?
Yeah, exactly. You are the third person sitting here at this editorial desk with us today, and our shared mission is to demystify these staggering variations in cost for you.
We want to equip you with the exact technical knowledge to vet contractors with true editorial confidence.
Because when you start your own project, you need to know exactly what you are paying for.
Right, so to understand how a quote reaches $146,000, we have to first break down the primary variables that drive up those baseline median costs.
Okay, let us break it down.
We analyzed the itemized list of that specific outlier quote, and it involved 35 custom aluminum-clad wood windows.
Wow, 35 custom windows.
Yeah, plus specialized impact glass and several custom architectural shapes designed for a sprawling luxury home.
I mean, every single one of those elements is a massive price multiplier. Let me break down the structural reality of custom shapes.
Go for it.
When a manufacturer builds a standard rectangular window, they use a highly efficient assembly line process. The moment you ask for a curved top or a custom geometric triangle, well, they have to pull that order off the automated line.
And have a specialized craftsman build it by hand.
Right. And then you add aluminum cladding. That is a highly durable exterior metal shield applied over the wood frame, and it is incredibly expensive to fabricate and attach.
And then, there's the impact glass. Contractor sales pitches often call it engineered armor. But let us explain the actual mechanism at play.
Yeah, what is it actually made of?
Well, impact glass is not just thicker glass. It is a highly specialized sandwich. Manufacturers take 2 sheets of tempered glass and bond them to a central core layer made of polyvinyl butyrol, or PVB.
It is like a clear, super strong plastic polymer, right?
Exactly. So if flying debris from a severe storm hits that window, the outer glass might shatter, but the plastic PVB layer acts like a spider web.
Oh, that is fascinating.
Yeah, it physically holds the shattered glass shards in place and prevents the storm winds from pressurizing your house and you're blowing the roof off.
So you are paying heavily for that complex manufacturing process. That paints a very clear picture of the extreme luxury end of the spectrum.
It really does.
Let us contrast that with the typical projects we see daily. Looking at our Renology project of the day network aggregates, we see much more grounded figures.
Oh, definitely.
For instance, a 1,500 square foot ranch home getting 10 standard vinyl windows installed came in at $11,500.
Right.
Then we have a 2,800 square foot colonial home that required 20 fiberglass windows. That project landed at $29,000.
Those aggregates give us a very accurate view of the per window installed cost ranges right now.
Yeah, they do.
If you are looking at vinyl, you can expect to pay anywhere from $450 to $1,100 per window.
Okay.
Fiberglass steps up the budget, sitting between $700 and $1,800.
Yeah.
And wood is the premium category, ranging from $900 to well over $2,500 per window.
But the physical materials only tell half the story. The labor required to rip out your old walls and put these units in is a massive chunk of the final bill.
Oh, it's huge.
Mm.
Labor currently accounts for 30 to 50% of the total project cost.
That is half the budget.
Yep. We pulled the May 2025 data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, which shows the national median hourly wage for glaziers is $28.50.
And remember, that is just the median.
Right. If you live in a major metropolitan area with a high cost of living, that hourly rate will be substantially higher.
And when you multiply those higher regional wages across a 3-day installation process, it directly inflates your per window installed costs.
Exactly.
I have to challenge the logic on the physical material costs, though. Let us think about the day-to-day reality of wood versus vinyl.
Okay, I am listening.
Wood requires regular, intense maintenance. You have to paint it, you have to seal it, and you constantly have to protect it from moisture to prevent rot.
That's very true.
Vinyl, on the other hand, is practically maintenance-free. You just wipe it down with soapy water.
Right, it is super easy.
So if wood requires so much more ongoing labor from the homeowner, why on earth does it cost more than double what vinyl costs? Is it purely an aesthetic status symbol for historic homes, or is there an actual structural justification?
It really comes down to the underlying chemistry of the materials and how they handle environmental stress over long periods of time.
Okay, how so?
Well, vinyl is a very affordable plastic polymer, but plastic reacts poorly to the environment. Over 20 to 30 years, constant ultraviolet radiation from the sun breaks down the polymer chains in the vinyl.
So it just bakes in the sun?
Exactly. It loses its structural flexibility and becomes brittle. It can literally start to warp or crack under its own weight.
Oh, wow.
But wood is organic and heavy. Despite the maintenance requirements, it is incredibly structurally sound. If you keep the moisture out, a solid wood window can easily last 30 to 50 years without losing its shape.
Which brings us to fiberglass. You mentioned earlier it sits right in the middle of the pricing tier, but it seems to outperform both vinyl and wood.
Fiberglass truly hits the sweet spot of window engineering. It can last 40 to 50 years because of how it reacts to heat.
Because of the manufacturing process.
Right. The fiberglass frame is manufactured using a pultrusion process that aligns microscopic glass fibers. Because the frame itself is essentially made of the same core material as the glass panes it holds, they expand and contract at the exact same rate.
During extreme temperature changes, you mean?
Yes, exactly.
That makes total sense. If the frame and the glass are expanding at different rates, they're going to fight each other. That friction puts immense stress on the window seals over the decades.
Yep.
So fiberglass eliminates that structural stress entirely.
That is the exact mechanism. The frame dictates the physical lifespan of the unit in your wall. But since those materials dictate the lifespan, a homeowner might naturally assume picking the frame material is the most critical choice they have to make.
Right, but is it?
Yet, looking at the technical data, the true value of a window actually lies in the invisible technology within the glass itself. The glass dictates how your home handles your specific local climate.
So the frame just holds the glass in place, but the glass does the heavy lifting for your monthly energy bills.
Yeah.
And the only way to measure that lifting is through the National Fenestration Rating Council metrics. Homeowners, you need to look for the NFRC label.
Yes, it is a specific black and white sticker right on the glass of any new window. We need to clearly define the physics behind those NFRC metrics.
Let's do it.
The two major numbers you will see on that sticker are the U factor and the solar heat gain coefficient.
Let me take a swing at the physics here.
Go for it.
U factor is a measure of thermal conduction. It literally tracks how fast the physical heat energy inside your house travels through the solid materials of the window and escapes out into the cold winter air.
Right.
So you want a very low U factor. A lower number means the heat is struggling to get through the glass.
That is perfect.
And then solar heat gain coefficient measures solar radiation. It tracks how well the window blocks the sun's invisible heat rays from penetrating the glass and baking the inside of your home during the summer.
That is an excellent breakdown. This is precisely why your local climate must dictate your choice. Buying a highly expensive premium window designed for the wrong climate is a devastatingly costly error.
Because it is just a waste of money.
Completely. We talked about Miami-Dade County earlier. If you live in a high-wind hurricane zone, your primary concern is surviving a catastrophic impact. You need those specialized PVB polymer impact ratings and high design pressures.
Which spikes the price dramatically.
Yes. But if you take that expensive Miami-Dade window and install it in a mild climate like Ohio, you have wasted thousands of dollars on structural armor you will never actually utilize.
Which brings us to the great triple pane myth.
Oh, yes.
Contractor sales pitches across the country constantly push triple pane windows as the ultimate necessary energy-saving upgrade. They tell you 3 panes of glass are always better than 2.
Right.
But are they really worth the 15 to 30% price premium?
According to the thermal data, typically no.
Wait, really?
Yeah, I mean, triple pane windows are usually only justified financially in the extremely cold northern tier of the United States and Canada, where winter heating costs are astronomically high.
Oh, that makes sense.
In those specific regions, the energy savings from that third pane of glass can actually offset the initial purchase premium over the lifespan of the window.
Look, for the rest of us.
For the vast majority of moderate climates, high-quality double-pane windows are more than sufficient, provided they are equipped with a low E coating and an argon gas fill.
Let us break down those 2 invisible upgrades, because contractors throw those terms around constantly. Think of a low E, or low emissivity coating, like a microscopic metallic thermos for your house. The manufacturer sprays a layer of silver oxide onto the glass that is literally thinner than a single human hair.
It is incredibly thin.
Yeah, and that metallic layer acts like a mirror for long-wave infrared heat, but it lets visible sunlight pass right through.
Right.
So in the summer, it bounces the sun's heat back outside. In the winter, it bounces your furnace's heat back inside.
And the argon gas works in tandem with that coating.
Because standard air moves around too much.
Exactly. Standard atmospheric air is light and moves around easily between the panes of glass, which means it transfers heat easily. But argon is a noble gas.
It is heavier, right?
Yes, it is much denser and heavier than normal air. Pumping it into the sealed space between the glass panes is like hanging a dense wool blanket between you and the cold air outside. The physical density of the argon actively slows down the thermal transfer.
You also have to consider the current regulatory landscape when making these choices. In 2026, the federal 25C tax credit under the Inflation Reduction Act is a major financial incentive for homeowners.
It is a huge deal.
But to qualify for that credit, your new windows must meet the stringent Energy Star 7.0 specifications, which were updated and made significantly stricter back in 2024.
Those updated specifications demand superior insulation metrics across all climate zones. It has forced manufacturers to really innovate their standard double-pane glass packages just to remain competitive and eligible for those tax credits.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Buying triple pane windows for a house in a moderate climate just because they are technically superior on paper, well, it is exactly like buying a commercial-grade snowplow for a driveway that only gets a light dusting of snow once a year.
That is a great way to put it.
Yes, the snowplow is a vastly superior machine, but it is a complete waste of your capital for your specific environmental needs.
What's fascinating here is the meta pattern we see over and over in project submissions. Homeowners get entirely caught up in debating brand identity.
Right. They spend weeks at the kitchen table agonizing over Anderson versus Pella.
Exactly, or comparing the prestige of different product lines. But the data shows us a well-installed mid-tier brand window that is perfectly matched to the correct NFRC climate numbers for your zip code will easily outperform a top-tier luxury brand that was chosen poorly for the climate.
True performance always beats brand identity.
Yes, it does.
That brings up a terrifying point about the whole renovation process, though. You can select the perfect NFRC-rated glass package.
You can ensure your low E coating and your argon gas are dialed in.
You can match the U factor to your snowy winters and the solar heat gain coefficient to your sunny summers. But if the contractor secures that high-tech window to your house improperly, those expensive energy savings literally leak right out the physical gaps around the frame.
The installation method is the hidden threat of any window project.
It really is.
There are 2 primary methods contractors use: pocket inserts and full frame replacements. Understanding the critical mechanical difference between them is vital to protecting the structural integrity of your home.
Let us detail that physical difference. A pocket insert installation leaves your old existing wooden window frame completely intact inside the wall.
Right. The contractor simply takes a new, slightly smaller window unit and slides it right into the old pocket.
It is significantly cheaper in terms of labor, and it is much faster to install, but it actively reduces your visible glass area because you now have a new frame sitting inside an old frame.
And more importantly, it completely hides any existing water damage inside your walls.
And that hidden water damage is a structural nightmare.
It is. A full frame replacement is the comprehensive approach. The contractor removes everything down to the bare wooden studs of the rough opening.
Which exposes the underlying framing.
Exactly. It allows the contractor to physically inspect the wood for historical water damage. They can build a brand new sloped sill pan to catch and direct future moisture outward.
That is crucial.
Most importantly, they can apply high-quality flashing tape and modern expanding polyurethane sealant to make the opening truly weatherproof before the new window ever goes in.
We also have to talk about the weakest link in the actual manufacturing of the modern window. I am talking about the insulated glass unit seal.
Right. The insulated glass unit is that sealed sandwich we discussed earlier, containing the glass panes, the low-E coating, and the argon gas.
Yep.
That flexible perimeter seal holding it all together is almost always the very first failure point in any modern window.
I like to explain it using the lung metaphor, because windows actually breathe.
They do.
Every time the sun hits the glass, the argon gas inside heats up and expands, pushing outward on the glass. At night, it cools down and contracts, pulling the glass inward.
So day after day, year after year, that window seal is acting like a lung, pumping in and out.
Eventually, that mechanical stress causes the flexible seal to crack and break. When it breaks, the heavy argon gas escapes, your energy efficiency plummets, and the window starts sucking in moist outside air.
That is exactly why you see foggy condensation trapped permanently between the panes of older windows. Manufacturers usually warranty that seal for 10 to 20 years.
I have a pointed question about this whole bidding process, though.
Okay.
If a full frame replacement is vastly superior for the structural integrity of the home, and it allows for proper waterproofing and rot inspection, why do contractors even offer pocket inserts? Is it simply a deceptive tactic to present an artificially low bid just to win the job away from a contractor who wants to do it the right way?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, yes, unfortunately. The competitive nature of the bidding process drives this behavior. Contractors know homeowners are looking closely at the bottom line.
And a pocket insert bid requires less labor and less material.
Right, so it will always look much more attractive financially on paper. This is precisely why checking the labor warranty provided by the local installer is just as crucial as checking the manufacturer's product warranty.
Because a contractor who performs a proper full-frame installation, fixing the underlying rot and taping the seams, will confidently stand behind their weatherproof seal.
Exactly. A contractor pushing a fast pocket insert might offer a very short labor warranty, leaving you completely financially exposed if that old underlying frame rots out 2 years later.
Because these deceptive bids using cheaper installation methods are out there in the wild, you have to demand extreme clarity in the financial paperwork before you sign any contract. Navigating the 2026 contracting reality requires intense vigilance.
The most important document in this entire process is your itemized quote. You must avoid lump sum pricing at all costs.
A quote that just says, replace 10 windows for $15,000, that is highly dangerous.
It completely hides the true cost of the raw materials, the hourly labor rate, the disposal fees for hauling away your old windows, and the local municipal building permits.
A proper professional quote lists the exact manufacturer model numbers and the exact quantities line by line. It separates the labor hours from the physical materials. It shows you the permit fees.
And speaking of fees and budgets, the National Association of Home Builders has a very specific recommendation for older properties.
What do they advise?
They advise carrying a 10 to 15% contingency budget for any renovations in homes older than 30 years.
That contingency budget is a vital safety net.
It really is.
Because once you pull out an old window frame during a proper full-frame replacement, you might uncover hidden disasters. You might find carpenter ant galleries chewed through the studs.
Or you might find black mold on the sill plate from a leak that started a decade ago. That rotting wood must be surgically repaired and replaced before the new window can be installed.
So you need a financial buffer ready for those surprises, so the project does not grind to a halt.
Exactly. We also have to acknowledge the current 2026 economic reality. Higher interest rates have fundamentally changed the math on home improvement.
Right. Financing a large multi-day project is significantly more expensive now than it was 5 years ago.
That changes how we must view the return on investment. Looking back at the Remodeling magazine data, both vinyl and wood replacements currently yield a 68.5% cost recoup at resale.
So that means you are not making a direct dollar-for-dollar profit on this project when you sell your house.
Exactly right. You spend $20,000 on a project and you increase your home's appraisal value by roughly $13,700.
The real value is not a quick house flipping profit. The real value is realized intrinsically through much lower monthly heating and cooling bills, eliminating uncomfortable drafty rooms, and massively improving your daily livability over the years you remain in the home.
And the good news regarding logistics is that the material supply chains have completely stabilized. We are long past the massive manufacturing delays of the early 20s.
Right.
Lead times for even highly custom architectural windows have returned to a very predictable 6 to 10 weeks from the moment your contractor places the order.
So what does this all mean for you sitting down to review a stack of bids on your kitchen table? It means you have the power to control the narrative of your project.
The editorial advice we want you to take away this week is simple. Stop agonizing over the brand names printed on the glossy brochures.
Stop stressing over the specific frame materials without looking at the underlying physics.
Instead, focus entirely on the technical process. Request the NFRC data sheets from your contractor to prove the low-E coating and gas fills match your specific climate.
Confirm in writing that they are performing a full frame installation process, not a cheap pocket insert.
And demand a strict line item quote so you know exactly where every single dollar of your investment is going.
I want to leave you with a provocative thought as we wrap up this deep dive. Industry projections show that building codes in several states are expected to adopt or even exceed the current Energy Star 7.0 performance requirements by the year 2027.
They are going to mandate high-performance glass as the legal baseline standard for any new construction or major renovation.
So if you opt for a cheaper, lower-performing window today just to save on the upfront costs, are you accidentally making your home functionally obsolete?
It is a scary thought. When you go to sell your house a few years down the road, an inspector might flag your brand new windows as falling below the modern baseline, making the property much harder to sell.
Think back to our car lot analogy. Make sure you are buying the reliable sedan you actually need for your climate, but make absolute certain that sedan has a modern, future-proof engine in it before you drive it off the lot. Keep doing your research, ask the hard questions, and protect your investment.